one, it's all negative deflection from V1 until V5, but I try to look closer. It looks like this one is upward in V6, but again, this is VTAC to me, okay, by following these parameters here. But as I said, sometimes there is an exception to the rule and it doesn't follow. So why Meldita told me like this and that? No, sometimes there is a atypical kind, so that doesn't fall under this, criteria. Okay, there's another one here, concordant VTAC in here from V1 to V6 here. It's pretty easy. This one here, this is the concordant from V1, V2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. They are all negative deflection. So this is concordant. You have a VTAC. Okay. Next example here is we have this VTAC here. So we have a right bundle. We have a right bundle pattern here. The right bundle branch pattern here. Okay. So it's upward. So we have a positive deflection upward. So it's wide. The rate is fast. So we think, oh, it's VTAC. So let's take a look. But here, so you got up, up, and then here down, 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 down. So what you're going to see, this is V1 with an upright QRS. So let's take a look with the V1 with upright QRS. So right there. So it either be this one or this one or this one. Let's take a look at your V6. Okay. So is that the same? Okay. So you got an upright here. That is your positive deflection in V1. How about your V6? So the V6 is downward. So let's take a look. Upright in V1, downward. So it's downward. Okay, so it's downward in V6. So we have a VTAC. It's not concordant, but the criteria fits. Next one. This is an example of VTAC that is all upright. So it's monomorphic and it is concordant. Starting from V1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's concordant, it's monophasic. Okay, next. This one here, when I look at it, I was a little bit skeptical. I said, oh, wow, it's wide. Okay, so we have a left bundle pattern here in V1. So you have downward or negative deflection, V2, 3, and 4. But here, there is a change. So in here, if you look at that, if it is equiphasic, then I might think twice. So this one, half of this is actually pointing downward. So this, I don't think this is, okay, let's take a look closer. Okay, so downward, 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 yes, downward, yes. Okay, let's take a look at the characteristic of this QRS. Okay, if you look at the QRS, it's more downward, okay? Look at this. It's more pointing downward. It's more pointing downward. Okay, this is concordance. And another thing too to check is, okay, I have something here that is a little bit suspicious, okay? I have an inserted bit here that probably a fusion or a capture. As I said, I don't have a 12-lead ECG to compare this so that I could say whether that is the original rhythm of the patient or not. But two of the things come up in your mind because you don't have something to compare. Either this is a capture or fusion bait. Again, one of the criteria for VTAC is capture or fusion bait, and another criterion is the concordance. Okay, I skipped the other is the 12-lead ECG here. It's VTAC. Okay, this one I showed you earlier. So we have an upright V1, and then here downward deflection, positive for VTAC, but I will not say that yet until maybe I see this one. So this one concludes it. So we have here probably a fusion or capture bit. Capture bit. This is a rhythm strip in here, but something is inserted here. There's one and there's one which are uniform, and that's from the patient. It's not coming from the it's not ventricular here. Okay, so that is the fusion or capture bit. So again, I should say this is 100% VTAC. Okay, when you say fusion bit, that is there are two stimuli here. Fusion bit, there is an impulse coming from impulse coming from above, and there's an impulse that passes the AV node, so it will go antegradally or forward, And there's also the ventricle impulse, and they can collide in the AV node, and they have a fusion beat. Capture beat is something that it's coming from above by itself, that it comes or arrives earlier in the AV node before the ventricle kicks in. So that is the capture beat. But for fusion, two. There are two stimuli. But for the capture, it's only one. It's coming from above, not from the ventricle. Okay. And this is the example of this polymorphic here. Next, we have another example here of VTAC. In here, if you look at V1, this is a left bundle branch pattern block, left bundle branch block pattern. Okay, V1. And then if you go to V2, this is more downward. So down, down. This is down, down again. But this went up and up. Now, it's not concordant. Let's take a look at one of our criteria here. So we have a V1 that is downward deflection. That's the one. And the V6 is this one. Let's take a look. So it's upright. But it's upright. If you go down here, it fits. So we have a VTAC here. That's it. So if it is concordant, no question asked. For concordance, it's understood. But again, if you have more proof or criteria into it, like more fusion, more capture, plus the concordance, so much the better. So it's more conclusive that it's VTAC. Okay? If possible, you got 2 or 3 or just 1 and 2 is good. But of course, I'll tell you another thing after I discuss this ECG here. Okay. Now, there is a VTAC that is coming from the fascicle. Okay. When you say fascicle, the left bundle has 2 branches. One that is anterior fascicle and one that is posterior fascicle. Now, this is called the Belhassen VTAC. Belhassen VTAC can come from either. It could be from here or it could be from this fascicle here. Okay. And they are skinnier, and people think that it's actually SVT with right bundle. Okay. So anyway, the electrophysiology will be the one to decide and check and, to investigate if that is really VTAC or what. Because the patient is awake and just complaining of some palpitation or anything, but the patient never pass out or go into cardiac arrest or LOC. They're conscious and everything. This is the one I'm talking about. Like, not all VTAC can crash. Not all people with VTAC can crash. There are some that can tolerate because it depends on the site of the ventricular tachycardia. Okay, so let's take a look at rest. So before, they will tell whether they will let the patient go for exercise, because exercise can induce the patient to go into VTAC or just immediate recovery after the stress test. If you look at this, the patient's rhythm is regular. Okay, this is ECG at rest. So we have a sinus rhythm here. Okay, then the patient will go for stress test as ordered. So the start of the thing, so the patient tachys, so the patient's rate went fast. As I said, the VTAC, don't look at the lymph list. You go to the chest or precordial list, V1 to V6. So now you see that it became faster. So earlier it was slower, sinus. Now the patient probably 300, 150. This is probably like maybe about 140. So tachys. So the rate went up. Okay, start of the exercise. Now, ongoing exercise. So longer exercise happening, and look. So everything now starting to change. And look, what did you see here? You see now we have 3 ventricular beats. And this one is an example of right bundle block pattern here. Okay, the RSR and this one. So again,